What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Musician's Mindset Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Witherspoon, and stopping by today to share a mental music note on the Musical Mindset Podcast is a good friend of mine. We play plenty of gigs together, from Sundays to stage plays to R&B sets. Uh, he's the drummer for Casey Donahew, well-renowned country singer, Mr. Brandon Price. Brandon, how you doing today, brother?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me over.
Man, thank you. Thank you for doing this. I remember when I had this thought, you were one of the first people that I told this idea, and you thought it was a great idea. So thank you for being a part of the vision. But we want to go ahead and just jump right into it.
Let's do it.
Let the people get a little bit to know about Brandon Price, the man, the drummer, the musician, the professional. Where you from?
Garland, Texas.
Garland, Texas, born and raised.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
All through school, I went to Garland High School, the whole bit.
Okay. How long you been playing drums?
4-ish, 3, 4, something like that. Yeah.
Was that a God-given, or you took lessons?
That's God-given, brother.
Good.
That's God-given.
Good. That's what's up. Hey, man, I want to jump right into some things that I'm sure people that don't know you have saying some of the same questions, that I may have. You're a touring musician for a country band. How did that come about?
So, I was playing a lot in Deep Ellum in Dallas. And when I got out of college, or when I stopped going to college, depending how you look at it. But was getting heavy into the hip hop, R&B, jazz scene in Dallas, and randomly I had a band called Friday's Foolery at that point, and we were playing every Tuesday, every week in Deep Ellum, and randomly the tour manager for Casey Donahew was a fan of ours because he was from the Deep Ellum scene himself, from like the rock side of music, right? But he was working for this country artist, and he was like, "Hey, my boss is looking for a new drummer, and you're one of my favorite drummers. So let me see if I can hook y'all up together and see if he likes you or whatever." And then I was like, "Country, all right." I played some country gigs before, but they were like real small bands. We might have went to Tyler, or, just somewhere close, But I was like, man, send him my information, and he told me who it was, and I was like, I've never heard of this guy before in my life. I've heard of bigger guys, or as far as bigger, like Willie Nelson and people like that, but like in the Texas country scene, I really didn't know a lot about it, and I was like, well, does he have any music out? Like, what's up? And he was like, oh, look him up. So I looked him up on YouTube, and I saw that he had like hundreds of thousands of views and, things like that. And he was
That
like,
caught your attention, huh?
yeah. I was like, oh, man, because I told myself way back when I played for those smaller bands, I was like, man, I really don't want to be in a van, 15-passenger, old church van, riding all around Texas in the hot sun. Like, I didn't feel like doing that, so I was like, if I do country again, it gotta be for somebody that's worth doing country again for. And when he was like, "Oh, we got a tour bus, we got the whole nine," and I was like, "Really?" And looked up a music video, and he had a music video, and I was like, "Oh man,
That's a start. He's a
I
professional.
was like, yo, So once I saw that, I was like, man, yeah, send him my stuff, like now, like send it to him. He sent him a couple of just little videos I had on YouTube or whatever of just me playing random songs, and he really liked it. He was like, "Come on."
Wow. You
Yeah.
got a break like that. Did you even have to audition with him?
Barely. I wouldn't even call it an audition in real life. Like, I didn't meet him until I was on the bus for the first gig. So he had.
Wait a minute. You didn't actually get to meet the artist until you was actually hired for the gig.
Not officially. So his guitar player was at that time, a guy named John Newsom was the MD of the band, and he reached out to me. And then the second guitar player, they both came to my apartment. I was living in downtown at that point, and they both came to my apartment. They sent me about 30 songs prior. Like, no, excuse me, let me change that. They sent me about 5 songs prior to that little meetup. and they were like, "Well, hey, do what you can with these songs real quick. We're gonna come over. We're gonna see what you gotta do, what you can do, or whatever." And mind you, I'm in an apartment, so I'm like, I can't set up a whole drum set and really play. So I set up like some little basic drum set, put a whole bunch of shirts and towels over every drum so I wouldn't make a lot of noise, and I was barely playing, like, boom, got boom, like barely. And we would just put the Bluetooth on, and I played along with it a little bit, and they were like, "We understand. We think you got it though, so we're good."
Wow.
And then right after that is when they sent me 30 songs. They were like, "All right, you're gonna be up in 2 weeks, so we need you to have all this stuff down. Have you ever messed with Ableton before? No, never did that before. Have you ran tracks before? Nope, never ran them. Like, I mean, in church a little bit, but like not like on a big, rig or whatever."
Wow.
And I was like, "Nah, but just teach me and I'll figure it out real fast." And he was like, "We'll figure that out. You're good enough. You'll figure it out." So I did that, and man, that was some of the most country in my head at that point was like, "Oh, this is super easy," because I was used to playing jazz and
Right.
all the other stuff and hip hop and R&B and gospel, like the hardest musics to play. And I was like, country is easy, whatever. And so when I got all this music, it'd be the little stuff, just the little stuff, because you forget sometimes you forget because the music is quote unquote easy. These are pro musicians recording this stuff, studio guys that have been doing it, and on all the big hits that you've heard all through the '90s. He had all those guys playing. So I'm like, these are real guys, and like, so you're listening to the music for real, trying to really study, and you're like, oh man, they actually doing something in here, whatever. But I wrote it all out. I charted it out and was practicing and listening my butt off. I don't know if I can cuss on here. My
Say what
butt,
you got to say.
my ass off. I can do. And by the time 2 weeks was up, I was ready to go.
Man, favor ain't
It
fair.
ain't fair.
I mean,
It ain't.
you got cats that's been auditioning for artists like Casey Donahew, and I mean, he's no just bottom of the line artist. I mean, this dude has been. I was looking at his bio and his Wikipedia. This guy has had hits after hits after hits
Yeah.
after hits.
Oh yeah. He 20 plus years in the game. He's
Wow.
he's considered a legend out here, and especially from the Texas subgenre of country.
Right.
Legend. And so he's no slouch for sure.
You mentioned your band Fridays Fool Around. We're gonna come back to them, but I just want to kind of just park right here, man, with the country band. What was your mindset when you first got on that bus to go to them? Do you remember where the first gig was?
Yes, ish. I remember. Oh, quick story. I don't know if this was the first day, but this was definitely the first. I remember the first 2 weeks. I mean, we hit Charleston, South Carolina. We hit D.C. We hit Boston. We hit Philly, Manhattan.
All of the,
Pretty
all
much.
of that on that one
It's
tour.
the first. It's the first.
This your
week
first
or
time
two,
out.
man.
This your first time out.
I was like, I saw the schedule. I was like I didn't know country at that point. I didn't know the touring schedule of country. So to get thrown in on this big stage, and we were opening for, or we were on the tour with a legend that's Casey's mentor, who's like legend. Like I heard of this guy, guy named Pat Green, and he'd been out since like the '80s. Like he was, the guy from Texas. So I knew him already. Like I heard his music before, and so I'm like, oh man, we over here with him. And it was an East Coast run with all the big cities and all that stuff. And I was just like, oh, is this what we on? Like, is this the type of country like that? We doing big cities and that's it. Like I'm thinking, oh, I'm whatever. And then I think the first, it might not have been, but I'll say the first couple of dates. The first one was in Charleston, South Carolina, and the reason why I remember that was because, we did sound check, and that was my first sound check. Got to really meet everybody, excuse me, and was trying to figure out how to work everything or whatever. And we had like a lunch break or a dinner break or whatever. And I remember being, it was at a theater, and on top of this theater was a restaurant, outside bar type situation. And for whatever reason, This restaurant had a hornet infestation,
Uh,
like everywhere.
wow.
Now the bartenders and stuff was just going around life like nothing was wrong because this is normal as hell to them, and I was just like, yo, there's hornets around here. Give me my food so I can I can go back downstairs or what inside or whatever. Didn't know. They were like, no, no, it's good. You don't mess with them, they don't mess with you, right? I wouldn't mess with them. And then I was sitting there, I think next to Casey and maybe the bass player or whatever. All of a sudden, felt something right here,
Oh.
and I looked at him, and it's like he looked at me, and was like, "I'm gonna get you." Didn't mess with him, didn't shoo him off or anything. I was just like, "Yo, hey, 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 hey," you know. And then I'm talking about as soon as I looked him in his eyes, he took that as a threat, and he said, "Yink." And I ran out of that whole building. I went downstairs, ran out the door, and just ran down the block. I didn't know if I was allergic to bee stings or to hornet stings or anything. I was like, well, it's my time to go. I'm just gonna walk down the street here and just and just let it come. and
Man, it's real fascinating to me how your whole situation just came about, and I mean, it's almost seemed like it was a overnight situation to where you got to where
yeah.
you were going. Now, meeting Casey for the first time, do you remember that interaction, and what was that like?
um, meeting him for the first time. Well, okay, so technically, I was introduced to him maybe let's say a week before. They had a gig at the what was that called? The Rustic in Dallas,
Okay, yeah,
right?
yeah, off of
And
75.
right,
Yeah.
and the John, the MD, was like, "Hey, come out here so you can kind of see what you're gonna get into, essentially." And they had another drummer at that point, but he was on his way out, and so I came and watched. Now, like I said, the other country situations I've been in weren't this. Like either it was down here or way up there, like Taylor Swift. Like there was no in betweens
Yeah.
going on. Like in my head, right? So when I came to that show, saw lights, saw smoke, saw just big production. A lot was going on, and I was like, oh, like that further cemented my. Oh, I really want to be a part of this.
You
Like
knew it was
this is
real
my
at
next
that point.
level. Like I need to be on this next level. I deserve to be here. Like I'm good enough to be here. And so when I saw that, I was whoa. I was kind of blown away a little bit. And then I met him briefly right there because the other drummer was still there, right? So you don't want to,
Step.
hey, you don't want to dap me up crazy because he right there.
Hey, I'm the new guy. I'm the one finna get ready to kick you out, man. What's up?
Yeah, yeah, you don't want to do that. So like, he like shook my hand, like good to meet you, and then kind of kept it moving. And then the MD was like, hey, told me what was going on. I was like,
Okay.
okay. So I'm not gonna feel offended or anything like that. But when I first met him, like day one, I mean, real cool guy. I figured out he was one of those guys that are movie quote guys.
Okay.
Like yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, he's gonna chill out a movie quote, and if you can get back with him on that, you there.
That's your communication
Yeah,
right with
yeah,
him.
yeah. So like that. I mean, to this day, I've been with him 9 years this year,
Wow.
and to this day, movie quotes are just
It's a
spouted
thing.
off. Yeah, it's still a thing for sure.
Man, I always wonder because you see stuff on TV about tour buses and people bringing out the guitars and writing songs on the bus and that kind of stuff. I want to touch on a little bit of how is life like touring. I mean, on the bus because you guys don't necessarily fly to all your gigs. You
Not all of
basically
them.
on buses
Mostly
most of
on
the time.
95% on buses for sure.
Are you tired of being on a bus?
Uh, I'm tired of being on the bus. No, okay. So no, I will say no because so there's two types of touring. There's the touring that you're gone for 3, 4 months straight. You don't see home
Uh,
for 3, 4, or maybe even more. Just depending on where you're going. There's those type of tours, and then there's what we call weekend warrior tours. He's a weekend warrior type of tour. So Friday and Saturday, maybe Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And then the longest I think we've been on a bus was maybe 2 weeks out the year. And So when you have a schedule like that, and you're coming home pretty much every Sunday, as I'm still able to come to church most Sundays out the year,
Yeah.
you're home for 3 to 4 days out the week, and then you just get on the bus for 2 days at the most, right? Usually, I say about 95% of the time. So you don't get tired of it as far as like, oh, I can't stand being on this bus. Like for us, 4 days. All right, now you pushing it now. Just because we're just not used, we're not conditioned for it,
Yeah.
right? Now I wouldn't even know what it would feel like to be on a bus for 3 months. Period. Like I'll go psycho. I would go psycho at that
Yeah.
point. Like just I'm not used to that. But I mean, bus culture is I mean, you fly planes and it's a tube in the sky full of 100 maybe people, right? So bus is almost the same. Let's say 10 to 15 people. I think with us it's about 11 people, and it's a tube rolling down the road every day. So it's like, and it's a bunch of men. Everybody ain't on the same schedule, if you know what I'm saying. I don't know. I don't know. But like, you gotta deal with that. It's almost like a locker room that you just stay in.
It's like a brotherhood. It's almost like
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah. For sure. You gotta be friends to some degree with your bandmates and your crewmates, because if not, it's a long day.
what was there ever a time you were on a bus and you was thinking, man, what am I doing? Why am I here? I shouldn't be doing this. I want to go home. Did you ever get homesick? Any of that?
There was a time where I got homesick as soon as I got on the bus. I mean, once I started having kids, once I had kids, that's when I would be like, yeah, I'm already ready to come home, and we ain't even left yet. Like, but that's just because I'm a dad, and I want to be around my kids, and a day away from them can seem like forever. But other than that, nah, it's pretty chill. I mean, these are guys that I've spent too much time with, probably, and but they've become really cool friends, and people that I'll remember for the rest of my life. So it's always, and they're good people. Everybody is like, you can get in a band where everybody ain't you know up to par, or everybody ain't just that type of guy, right? And so you got to navigate your way through that. But luckily, I'm talking about, even with the turnover we might have had, just musicians kind of leaving and coming in, everybody that's being picked to come in is usually pretty chill, like really chill, are good with people, good with other
Yeah.
can play well with others and all the good things. So it's always a good vibe.
You mentioned the tough part is you started this journey when you was a single man, no kids.
Hmm.
Then you end up becoming a father
Hmm.
and having to leave your kids and get on the road. I mean, I'm sure Max is probably old enough to understand kind of what's going on. Dad's at work,
Yeah,
but what are the conversations that maybe before you leave and go on the road that you have with them? I mean, what is that dynamic like?
it's actually pretty simple. I mean, all my kids have they were born into what dad does. So I started with Casey in 2017. Max wasn't born until 2019. So that's all he know, right? And Penny and Allie, that's all they know. So it's just as simple with them as saying, "Hey, Dad's about to go play drums."
Okay.
They already know what's going on. We're not gonna see Dad for 2 days. That's just
They,
essential.
they know that when Dad going to play drums, Dad is going to be gone for a couple of
Yeah,
days.
yeah, they know that, and they've been on. Like, I go live a lot of times on Instagram and things during the show or whatever. They hopped on themselves. They know what's happened. They've come to my shows before when it was local stuff or whatever, and so they know when Daddy says he's going to play drums, it's about to be this whole thing, and we like seeing it, and we're glad Dad's doing it. I hope, and because getting everything they want. So, but like, that's all they know. So it's a pretty simple conversation. And I'm glad it worked out that way instead of being like a brand new thing that I just
Right.
got,
Makes sense.
and
Makes sense.
I've been here every single day, and then boom, oh, I got this gig. Now I'm about to be gone. I'm, this is all I know when it comes to me, so it works out.
What's the best part and the hardest part about being a touring musician?
Hmm, budgeting, probably. Um, when you're on a what I want to say normal, but I don't like that word. But the traditional job, 9 to 5 type of situation, every 2 weeks or every 15th and 30th, or first and 15th,
Yeah.
however you're doing it. Um, like there's more of a structure there.
Getting that paycheck on a regular. You
Yeah,
expecting it.
there's more of a structure there now. Now, thank God that my check comes on the regular, and I expect it, and it's never bounced ever, right? So, but it's faster money. Like we don't do the first and 15th. We do as soon as you get back from the trip. It's what is waiting for you in the office. So
uh,
it's a weekly check. Now, let's say you don't have a gig, like i.e. next weekend. We're off for Easter weekend.
okay.
So what did I do? To prepare. Am I gonna be able to pay my rent on time and be cool until the next week after that when we get back on the road? There's a lot of things you have to you just gotta be disciplined in real life.
And I know that can be kind of maybe stressful at times because you don't. You're working for yourself basically,
Oh yeah, yeah,
and when you're working for yourself, a lot of times you don't get paid right up front when your gig is done, or you're working to get
yeah,
that
yeah,
paycheck.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I say that to say, how do you manage the downtime? And not to get into your personal business, but from a financial standpoint, is it just you build that nest egg because you know that these slow periods are going to come because they are going to come?
Oh, they're gonna come for
Uh,
sure.
do you just build that nest egg and save for that rainy day, or
Yes, yes.
okay,
Uh, the smart thing to do is to build the nest egg. So save wherever you can. Um, Try not to go out as much. Like, try not to order out as much.
simple stuff? Just
DoorDash is not your friend. They will charge you. You paid this for this, and then they're charging you this fee and this fee and this fee, and now you're paying $50 for a $20 meal. That don't make sense. Just because you lazy.
okay. So you mentioned food. So what is it like on the tour bus? I mean, you guys don't have a private chef, or how do you guys, as far as the food, how does that work?
Okay, so it depends on what the gig is, where we're going. All this stuff is laid out before we even get there, right? So and contracts and all these things. Now there's a thing called a buyout, which is let me make sure I got this right. Okay, let's put it this way. Certain places we'll go, there will be catered food,
Okay.
right? But then, with I found this interesting. It could probably be with any genre, but I find it with country more than any other genre. Let me put it that way. Where because in country music, there's certain things you play for, certain events you play for that are just different than everybody else. Rodeos specifically,
Yeah. Yeah.
specifically, all through the summer, all through the fall. Rodeos. You're gonna be playing a lot of rodeos, whether it's in the podunk town or whether it's in a big city like Las Vegas. Everything in between, you're gonna be paying for that. Now, in that situation, depending on how big the rodeo is, or how big the city is, or town is, or whatever, you can get catering through the whole event, and it'll be a regular catering situation. Or old Chuck from down the way has a big smoker in his backyard, and he just wanted to bless the
Yeah.
band with a dinner. And sometimes that'd be good.
The best dinners you had
I'm
on the
talking about
road.
sometimes it'd be good. You know what I mean? Sometimes everybody ain't able, right? But like either you'll get that, or they'll they could cater Chick-fil-A in, or just different stuff. It just depends on their budget and what they want to do. Or you can get a buyout in which, from what I understand, they forego what we require on our rider. Like, we need these things to be here, right? Whether it's Coors Light, which is what
The
that's
drink of
the
choice for the Casey Donahew band.
unfortunately, it's not my favorite, but like I'll drink it, whatever. But like Coors Light and sandwich meat and sandwiches and hot dogs and things like that for the bus,
Okay.
like for our travels. We can forego that, and then they'll just whatever money they were going to spend on that, they'll give it to us essentially.
Oh,
Right?
okay.
So
Gotcha.
but since the band members and the crew members get per diem from management, then that buyout goes straight to management, obviously. And that's kind of used for our per diem, which they'll reimburse us later, or when the check is there, it'll be in there. But food, man, it's hard to be healthy on the road. That is a fact. But there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Like,
Ain't nobody passing out salads. Huh? Ain't
nah,
nobody passing
man,
out salads on the
nah.
road.
I mean, like I said, it's got to be one of those. If it's a rodeo or if it's a big event that they just got the money for all that, that's the only time you're really gonna get a salad. But they're gonna have a whole bunch of other stuff, probably steaks and whatever. But like salad would be the first course or whatever. That's really the only time you're gonna get a salad straight up. Otherwise, it's gonna be on a day that we're not getting any. We might not be getting any catered anything, and it's all on us. Then you go get yourself a salad and make it happen.
Well, and that's what I wanted to do. I want to bring people like you on the show because a lot of people don't know what's behind the scenes, what goes on. A lot of people see you guys on stage and it's the glitz and the glamour and the lights and the smoke, like you say, but they don't know, the details behind the scenes, and that's the whole point of what we're going to do. Man, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back once again. The drummer for Casey Donahew, well-renowned country singer out of the Dallas-Fort Worth area. This is Mr. Brandon Price. I am your host, Chris Witherspoon. We're going to take a quick pause for the calls, and we will be back. We're going to get a little bit more into the road life, and then we're going to get into a little bit of Friday's foolery and you growing up as a child and all of that. So make sure you guys stay with us for part two. Mr. Brandon Price again on Musicians Mindset Podcast.